Hey, pause what you're doing for a moment. Seriously, everything just shifted, and if you weren't in Bristol, UK, that night, let me set the scene for you because you missed the moment hip-hop finally found its resolution. I'm referring to a secret, a legend that has circulated on the streets for 30 years. Something everyone talked about but never believed would actually happen. You know how it goes, some stories seem too incredible to be true, but this one turned out to be the most genuine moment since the first time a needle hit an MPC. Imagine this, it wasn't some extravagant press conference. By the way, welcome to Celebrity Hip Hop Showroom, where hip hop and celebrity drama never sleep, so hit that subscribe button so you never miss the mess. Let's get into it. Nah, this is a DJ Premier tour stop, a packed-out venue in Bristol, UK. The air is thick, you can smell the sweat and the anticipation, and the bass is rattling your chest like a cage. Premier, the man, the legend, is up there on the decks, rocking those big headphones, moving that crossfader like it's an extension of his soul. He's running through the classics, every beat a history lesson, and the crowd is eating it up, hands in the air, yelling every single lyric. But then the atmosphere shifts, right? It goes from electric to something like a silent, vibrating tension. Premier looks up, catches a few people's eyes, and then he drops it. Not a new track, not some unreleased heat, but the one, the only, Represent from Illmatic. The boom bap, that raw, gritty, street sound that defined a whole generation, just hits you square in the face. Now, for anyone who knows the culture, Represent isn't just a track, it's a prayer, it's a blueprint, and it's proof of an undeniable, almost spiritual connection between two giants, DJ Premier and Nas. You got Premier on the beat, all those choppy samples, that signature scratch hook, and you got Nas, the poet of Queensbridge, painting pictures with words you could feel in your gut. For years, decades, man, the whisper has been, why don't they do a whole album? That was the holy grail. Forget your fantasy matchups, forget the beefs. The real hip-hop head wanted to know when these two were going to lock themselves in a studio and deliver the full-length masterpiece that was owed to the culture. Tracks like New York State of Mind, Memory Lane, Sittin' in the Park, and yeah, Represent, those weren't just songs. They were teasers. They were little glimpses into a potential universe, and the fans, the real ones, they never let that dream die. Every time one of them gave an interview, someone, somewhere, was asking about the joint project. It was the question that hung in the air like smoke. So, Premier is letting the beat ride, letting Nas's voice echo, and the crowd is in a trance. You can feel the energy of the room pulling on a thread that started way back in the early 90s. And then, he cuts the beat, just leaves that familiar rhythmic scratch looping, and he leans into the mic. That's when it got real. It wasn't a formal announcement, it was straight talk, street gospel from the man himself. He didn't use fancy words, didn't need a press release. He just said the date, simple, direct, and with the weight of history behind it. December 12th. That's it. Just 3 words and a date, and the place went absolutely bonkers. It wasn't just noise, it was a physical eruption of joy and disbelief. People were hugging strangers, yelling at the top of their lungs, filming the moment on their phones knowing they were witnessing history being written in real time, not in a textbook, but right there, on a dusty turntable in Bristol. The whole room became a witness to the final piece of the puzzle dropping into place. Think about the weight of that date. December 12th. It wasn't just another Friday release. It was the end of 3 decades of speculation. It was the payoff for every argument made in barbershops, every forum post written in the dark, every late-night session spent digging through crates, listening to those few perfect tracks and wishing for more. This wasn't about a comeback. Nas has been on a tear, still dropping high-quality albums, still proving he's the best to ever do it. And Premier? He's untouchable, a living architect of the genre. The timing, though, felt almost cosmic. With Nas constantly reminding people of his lyrical dominance and Premier celebrating a legacy that shaped the very sound of the East Coast, 2025 was already a big year, but this announcement? This cements it as monumental. It's like the universe decided the time for dreaming was over, and the time for delivering the goods had arrived. The thing about this whole collaboration is that it represents something purer than what you usually get in the mainstream. This is not a calculated marketing move. This is two undisputed masters, at the peak of their individual powers, finally committing to the project everyone knew they were capable of. It's a generational event because it ties the classic era, that raw, untainted sound of the early 90s, to the present, showing that real hip-hop doesn't fade, it just gets better, deeper, more refined with time. Imagine that sound, Premier's signature drums and scratches, but with Nas's current wisdom, his reflective storytelling mixed with that same sharp-eyed street poetry from his youth. That's not just an album, that's a time capsule and a forward-looking statement all at once. It's the meeting of two titans in their absolute purest form, committed to the spirit that shaped an era. The truth is, this project has always been less about if it would happen and more about when. The chemistry was too explosive to ignore. Every track they touched together felt like fate. It had a sound that nobody else could replicate, a specific tone, a certain kind of New York grit that felt like stepping onto a subway platform at 3 a.m. and watching the city breathe. That's the feeling the fans were chasing, that authenticity, that raw, unpolished brilliance. And Premier, by simply dropping the date, validated every single fan who held on to that belief. He looked out at that crowd, saw all those faces who grew up on their music, and gave them the ultimate confirmation. It was a secret kept for the culture, and now it was a gift given back to the culture. The days following the announcement were a whirlwind. The news spread like wildfire, moving through the streets and the internet at the speed of sound. You couldn't open a social media app without seeing December 12th trending. Everyone had an opinion, everyone was calling their friends, trying to process the enormity of what was coming. The talk wasn't just about track lists or features, it was about the expectation. The bar wasn't just high, it was orbiting the planet. When you wait 30 years for something, the project has to be flawless, it has to live up to the myth. But the beautiful thing is, these are two guys who have always delivered. They don't know how to phone it in. They don't do filler. Every beat, every bar, is deliberate, crafted with a surgical precision that only comes from decades of mastery. The excitement wasn't built on hype, it was built on a proven track record of absolute excellence. Think about what Nas has been doing lately, hitting this incredible late career stride, working with producers like Hit Boy, showing that his pen game is still untouchable, finding new ways to tell his stories, to look back on his life and the game he helped create. Now, take that mature, reflective, masterful Nas, and put him back over those Premier beats, the dusty loops, the hard snares, the scratches that talk back to the MC. That's the collision everyone is waiting for, the perfect marriage of evolution and foundation. It's not a throwback album, it's an evolution of the classic sound. It's the next chapter of the scripture. And the silence around the actual music, the complete lack of leaks or advanced singles, only added to the suspense. It's locked down, being held close, guarded like the treasure it is, and that mystery only makes the December 12th date feel more significant, more like a monumental moment where the whole world is going to collectively press play. The street narrative around this album is already thick. People are picturing the recording sessions, Premier in his lab, digging through records for hours, finding that one perfect 2-second snippet that will become the backbone of a classic. And Nas, sitting there, pen in hand, looking at the beat like a canvas, letting Premier's loops guide his narrative, his flow bouncing off those distinct kicks and snares. It's a process built on mutual respect and a shared understanding of what makes hip-hop real. This is more than a joint venture. It's a testament to a friendship and a creative partnership that was always destined to be fully realized. It's a final piece of documentation for the East Coast sound, ensuring its legacy is not just preserved, but expanded upon by the very people who created it. The clock is ticking down to December 12th, and honestly, the wait is excruciating. Every fan who argued passionately for this, who never gave up hope, they're finally getting their payoff. It's the culmination of decades of demanding something truly great, something that transcends the trends and gets back to the pure essence of the art form. This isn't just an album release, it's a cultural homecoming, a moment where the past and present of hip-hop are going to collide and create something timeless. The legend of the Premier Nas collaboration is no longer a legend, it's about to be history, ready for us all to listen to and dissect. And I gotta tell you, knowing what these two are capable of, December 12th might just be the day the world remembers what that real East Coast sound feels like, raw and unfiltered. But the thing that really keeps you up at night is, how can any album live up to 30 years of anticipation? The answer, if you know Premier and Nas, is simple. They'll just make a classic, because that's all they know how to do. The silence before the storm is deafening, and you just know, when that needle finally drops on December 12th, the impact is going to be felt around the globe. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on this story.